He's whiny.
Yeah, like he sounds like such a bitch.
We definitely have not been maximizing the grift on the podcast. This has been a very, I guess you could call it a labor of love. There's two ways that you can look at business. One is a labor of love, and two is inefficient and destined for bankruptcy, right? Like
this is a labor of love for sure. I think we're in profit at the very least. It's like $5 profit, but it's profit.
That is true. We are actually in profit, and we can get you like the nice mic set up. And I need to make the bank account is what I need to do.
Yes, that's what we need. That's
setting up a bank. Like,
it's fine. We'll get a little business card, write it off, type of thing. Write-offs aren't going to help, but you know what I'm saying. Like, we're going to put this. What if there's like legitimate money one day, and it's like, we're going to go to fucking East Japan on the dollar on the podcast dime because we're doing a work trip. We're going to record with all the crypto people in Japan. Boom. See, you got to think ahead. That's the thing. That's the issue. You're not thinking ahead right now.
What do you think? What do you think is the level of podcasting fame that someone could attain where you don't have to pay rent anymore because you just hop the couches of all of your podcast listeners? Is everyone listening right now prepared to have me staying in your living room?
We probably aren't that far away from that. I think by 10K, you can probably pull that off. 10K YouTube subs.
Really?
Yeah, absolutely. I feel like I think 10K for sure. That's like a 5X from here. For sure, we can start fucking jumping around.
If you would let me stay on your couch, how long, though, would you let me stay on your couch? Like how many?
Well, you've been to my place. I don't have a couch. But hypothetically.
I don't have a couch either, actually. We're doing large item pickup on our street, and so everyone's taking out their like nice furniture and tossing it out that, you know, the stuff that they don't want anymore and whatever. And all of these guys, because I live in a decent part of town, I guess. So all of the people from like shitty towns are coming over to come and try and like nab our nice people furniture.
Smart.
And our neighbor put out like a nice couch the other day, and I was talking to my girlfriend. I was like, "Oh, look at that! We could finally have a couch. What do you think about that?" And she's like, "Fuck you, buy your own." So.
I am not above taking fucking secondhand couches. I'm not above that shit.
Behavior of all time, man.
It's the most
raccoon behavior of all time.
It is absolutely raccoon, but bro, you get the best furniture that way. Bro, you know how many times I've been moving into apartments and shit, and like someone's like trying to get rid of something on the way that I'm moving in, and I'm like, I'll take that. Boom. Now I have a fucking ottoman or some shit. Absolutely. You got me fucked up. I will take it.
I did that so much, and it sucks because I now have my own house furnished with all of this furniture, and I'm trying to fucking rent this bitch, man. And you know, I got all this shit I need to move, and what am I going to move it in? Not my Mazda 3. Not my Mazda.
You can fit a single suitcase in your Mazda 3.
And I don't think it's going to be my Miata either, bro.
Yeah.
I don't think it's going to put it on the back of the Bandit, and the Beamer is not going to, you know, like none of these vehicles I have, they're all great. We love them, but they are not trucks. I have the This is the thing, man. This is the thing is everybody shits on these big annoying trucks. We love to do it.
Move until you need.
Everybody in every city loves like these fucking hick ass with their F450s and 6 wheels on the rear end, and it's got a 9-foot. Fuck these hicks and these rednecks, and they can't see shit, and their fuel economy is poor. Yeah, fuck you, dude. I need somebody to move my furniture. So I would appreciate it if you would stop disparaging the rednecks, because right now
having a truck is a fucking business in itself. Like, you can make so much money just by like using your truck to do shit for people.
But it also sucks being the one friend in the group who that's sucks. A good point. Like, this was the same thing with like being the jacked guy in college is like, hey bro, do you want to help me move in? And it's like, no, dude, no.
Absolutely not. As it turns out.
I've eaten so much that I've now become like part bear, and half of my time fully is spent sleeping, dude. I'm trying to hibernate, man. You're trying to get me to go up and down stairs. Well, I don't know, dude.
If I had a truck, I would start fucking making vending machines or like, doing the vending machine grift. That always seemed like such a fucking easy grift, but
just like putting a vending machine at some like well-traveled place in town.
yeah. And like, there's like basically just find, or you can even just ask a business owner, like you need sodas and shit in here. Boom. You come in, you collect it, you do the maintenance. It's fucking easy. And they pull in like a couple $1,000s a week. Like legitimately, it's like vending machines like are unironically such a good buy, and you can just like it's like an easy first business because you can buy an old one for like $500 to like $1,000 off of eBay. So you work a fucking minimum wage job, you buy one off eBay or some shit secondhand, and then the maintenance is super easy. It's like a basic switchboard or whatever, and then you just fucking buy the bulks drinks and shit, and you put it in there.
Is this gonna be that I go and I search for it on YouTube, and there's gonna be like, it's gonna be like drop shipping too. Like there's gonna be an entirely separate community of like hustle grind set, like vending.
Absolutely, yeah. But it's like a little, because it's a little more involved than drop shipping. It self-selects. But the only reason I even know about this is because I used to work when I was in college for this. I used to be a bartender, but one of my friends started an arcade bar, and making an arcade machine, getting arcade machines is the same exact process. And that's why I even learned that grift existed. Because you just buy arcade machines off of secondhand shit, you move them, and then they bring in money because they use real quarters. Simple.
Damn.
Yeah. It's legitimately a good grift. And again, once you ask, and you do it locally, wherever you are, and you just ask the businesses around you, or wherever you think like people, walk by it, like campus or some shit. I don't know if campuses are the same, but like near a campus, easy. And then, it picks in like solid money. And then you just do a round every morning. You go, okay, this one is empty, this one's empty. And then you go to Walmart, buy some soda, and then fill it up. So that's always been the grift that I want to do, because it's like,
hire someone to go fill up all of these things.
Oh yeah, for minimum wage. Yeah, you can just fucking hire some kids for like $10 an hour, or $20 an hour. It's 2023 with inflation.
$35 an hour now.
Yeah, $35 an hour. And it takes them like 2 hours, whatever. And then so you pay them out essentially like 10% of your profit for the week, and boom, and you do fucking nothing. And nowadays they have the electronic ones that use like digital payments. That shit goes straight to your bank account. You don't even have to do shit. You don't even have to go empty the money. It's crazy. I mean, this is the best grift on the planet. I wanted to do it in New York City. It's just a lot harder because I don't have a fucking truck in New York City. But here it's absolutely, there's like no vending machines anywhere. I'm like, this is like, I could fucking clean up.
What if there's a reason there's no vending machines?
There probably is a reason, but I mean, like, there's a lot of places that are walkable in this area. You just have to ask and the thing is, not every business is going to say like, hey, yeah, of course you could put this here. But like, one of them will, two of them will.
I think I should start asking all the business owners around here. I think they would probably be like pissed off at me and say like, it's unaesthetic, like you're killing the vibes.
Yeah, I mean, if you're in like a kind of a bougie neighborhood, it won't work. If you have to be somewhere a little bit more public,
go to the town square and do it.
But also, again, if you go to a business guy like, here, I'll give you a part of it, and they're like, yeah, sure, whatever.
Pay the licensing fee, the vending machine licensing fee.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, something like that. But it's like every time I was when I was trying to look up how to start a business, when you're like fucking 21, that was the one that kept coming up as like very low startup costs with high return, and then you could move up to something more involved. What?
My thought process has always been that like if there's a business that you hear about on the internet, then like the alpha is gone. By the time you've managed to like search for it, I just assume there's got to be no. But I also understand that it's like, it's kind of like the soul bra thing, right? Where for years and years and years, everyone had been saying the online fitness grift is dead. There's nothing here. And then he just spun up his thing in like a year. And it's like, oh, well, it turns out actually just if you have some sort of angle or you're better than it, better at it than some other people, then like
it works.
You know,
I mean, like if people say you can't make money from podcast. I mean, like technically speaking, our podcast is already technically top 10% of all time. Not of all time, but like of modern podcasts. We made more than $0. So, you know,
it's probably like who else are we competing with? Is there like Hyperborean podcasters?
Yeah, like, you know, the only other people we're competing with, I guess, is like Geo's podcast and I guess Lev kind of, but not really.
Like who outside of modern times would be podcasting, right? Like it wasn't people.
Oh, I see what you're saying. You meant like literal Hyperboreans. No.
Yeah,
I mean like of podcasts that are like recording daily or weekly or whatever. We're already top 10%. We've made it past episode 10, so we're already top 25%. Most of them don't even make it past episode 10. And of the remaining 25%, maybe 90% don't make $1. So we're top 10, we're, you know, at least top 10%. And then we've hit 10,000 listens on Spotify. I'm sure at the end of the year, we'll see that little like, you know, Spotify rap thing and go, oh fuck, we actually, you know, we did something. It's just that, you know, you guys we did made out the mud.
Keep talking, endless. There were some good clips in here, dude. There's some good bits too that we can refine. I could probably go and make. I'll start on my own TikTok channel talking about whether it's gayer to kiss a man or top.
That's a good one. That's a great one. Actually, that's one we got to clip out. I put the timestamp in.
That's unironically one that could straight up go viral. With a 0 follower account on TikTok.
Yeah, I have I took timestamps, so I'm gonna I'm definitely gonna clip that one.
Yeah, I feel like there was. We might have to edit that and put it all together. It's halfback.
Yeah. Hi.
Hey, welcome back.
Can you give us a behind the scenes for what it's like when you clip out like this? Do you just are you just clicking on the reopen the link? You're just like clicking, click for like 45, 50 minutes until it comes back? Or do you just say, fuck it, I'm going to go like watch TikTok on the toilet or something?
Yeah, I just go, fuck it, I'm going to go do something and I'll come back. And it'll probably work now.
What are you doing? What are all of the tasks you've accomplished?
Okay, I went to the bathroom. I got some water.
TikTok.
It's like shit like that.
Yeah, that's the way to do it.
Yeah,
that's the fucking way to do it.
Just use it as a break.
Yeah.
What's
Listen,
really funny is I no longer sit on the toilet watching or like tweeting or doing any of that shit.
That's
now
good.
I don't live with my ex, right? Like
you're using it to hide. I like that.
I literally used it as like a place away from you know, and it's not like she wasn't like that or nagging me or anything even. It was just like you live with someone and they're always kind of there and you don't really think about this, but like there's a definite sense of like I don't know, like something's different when someone's in the room with you. And even if you're in your own thing with like, let's say I go into my office, right? And I close the door. Like, there's still a sense that I am not quite safe. The only place that was like safe was in the bathroom, because if they come in, you can be like, hey, this is private, right? So there's some sort of weird sanctity of the bathroom.
Mm-hmm.
So you're hiding in it. It's some sort of like a different energy that you have about you. Whereas in like an office or something, there's always a sense still that like you can be surprised by some sort of like a break-in with some interruption to your thought process, and the only place you can get like true pure clarity is in the bathroom.
But then that's the thing though, you ever have those people who, I don't know, I feel like some couples, they're like, they get to the point where there's like, I don't care if you're taking a shit, I'm coming in, I got makeup to do.
Well,
I feel like that's a level that I'm not necessarily comfortable with, but that certainly exists.
I have no sort of boundaries around like that sort of stuff, but like I pretend to
for the sanctity.
Right. Yeah. Because I understand that the sanctity of it needs to be preserved, or else it just sort of like, I don't know, man. I think the whole thing of, you know, there's that big debate on like cohabitation before marriage or whatever. And, you know, even the fairly trad like money guys at this point are like, no, like you want to test out to make sure you can do it before you marry her. Like it's stupid not to. And I kind of have gone back on
statistically
this
says no, you shouldn't test it out. But I still say, fuck that. I'm different. I'm built different.
Yeah, like if you really need a test, if you can live with her, go for like a 6-week vacation or something across Europe or some shit like that. Like, I don't think, because I mean, the reason that I moved in, or not the reason basically, like I bought a house and she was like, should I get an apartment? And I was like, no, that's retarded. I have a house. Why are you like, I have like 4 bedrooms, just live in one of them. And I thought nothing of it at the time. I was like, yeah, I'll just save this girl rent. Like, whatever, who cares? And then later I was like, wow, like I didn't really think about this, but I've invited a lot of really big things into my life now, because who fucking lives with you, man? How do you break up with somebody who's got like half of her furniture in your house?
That is tough.
Yeah, like
I mean, I feel like you could only do it if you're like, the plan is to not break up with this person.
Well, yeah, I mean, the plan wasn't to break up with her, but it also was like, I don't, nobody plans to break up with the person.
That's a good point. That's a good point.
Like, things happened, and it wound up becoming clear that it was not somebody that I should be marrying, but it was like, it seemed like a good, jolly idea at the time. And
but also you were younger, or you're still kind of young. It's like
literally like borderline doing the trad LARP, right? Like the age that I bought the house at was very small. The age at which like I was planning to marry this girl was very small. Like all of it was like, we're really going headfirst into. And I, dude, the more that I think about it, actually, like I was literally like fucking 1/2 of a step away from actually like destroying my life and like my human. Like I was almost going to be like guy working a normie 401k job, living in like a normie neighborhood, doing like normie industry stuff to support his like normie family with his wife that was like just a normal, nice girl.
Yeah, see,
like that was almost my life. Like I almost did regression to the mean in like one generation. Like I could have evaporated fucking every like every my ancestral lineage and like my parents and all of that worked to like put us like very decently above and I could have fucking grenaded it all in one move.
Yeah.
And thank God it wound up not happening. But
that's
my
how
God.
it happens. See, that's the thing. I keep telling these fucking people, a lot of people just, never be on Twitter ever. Cause like, as much as, I understand the point of the trad LARP makes sense, right? The argument is for it. There's a good underlying message that they're trying to convey. But then it becomes a simulacra. And now it's like get married when you're young and fucking just commit to some chick you don't even like that much because of, degeneracy of the world. And then you end up fucking ruining your life. You don't want to like, we were telling the person in the chat today, like, no, before 25, like, what are you doing? Like your brain hasn't, like, I'm not sure if the brain developing thing is a meme or not, but like, it's basically like real. It's like, that's when you're
human being. Like I all the fucking time get guys reaching out to me and DMing me and being like, dude, like I heard this thing that you said on the podcast and like I know that this would like never happen to you, but this is the situation that's going on in my life and I was wondering if you could give me advice on it. And I'm like, dude, like no, like I did all of that dumb shit. Like I did every fucking stupid thing with girls. I humiliated myself in every bizarre way. Like my first relationship that I ever had was one of the most like I could go and tell the full story on Twitter and everyone would just be like, that is the most fucking beta thing. For a weird loser, like it was like everything like nobody gets to the point of like figuring it all out or anything without ramming their head through like 87 walls and like humiliating themselves in the most brutal ways possible, right? So like there's all these guys out here and it's like I'm like 21 and like I did this dumb thing with this girl and it's like yeah, like that's dude, like literally I'm not joking when I say by age 23, like it wasn't until I was 23 years old that I was even sentient, like at the point of being able to assess myself as like an individual organism and say like oh, like that's why they reacted like that way or something. Like it was this really weird like lack of awareness for like so much of life. And like fuck, I remember, dude, this was so bad. There was this girl in like high school. I think I was like a freshman in high school or something, and I was commenting and I said something like simpy on some girl's photo, like she was like an athlete or something, and I said like, oh, you did great at this like event that I went to or something like that, and she like replied something and then I replied something and then she replied and I just kept going for like 50 comments. Eventually one of the guys on like the football team or something commented and said like, are you gonna date him? Like,
oh no.
I didn't even understand like what was going on. So I like ignored his comment because I was just confused. And then I was sitting one day in I don't know, it was maybe like junior year of college or something. I was sitting in class and I just suddenly remembered that. And I like understood like why he said that. And I was like, no. And I had it was it was like my whole junior year too, where I like stopped doing all drugs and like all of the weird like degenerate stuff. In my like lifestyle got like totally like healthified, and so as a result, I don't know if my hippocampus like regrew or something, but all of these memories that I had from when I was like 12, 11, like all of these like high school memories just suddenly got unlocked. And I would just be sitting there like doing some innocuous thing or like in class or something. And I would remember some like deeply embarrassing interaction that I had. And I would just like put my head in my hands and like try and like not scream in the middle of like Calc 3 or something.
Hell yeah.
It was a fucking year, dude. It was like a year of that shit. It just kept going on more and more. And anyway, my where I'm going with this rant to everyone is that yeah, like I mean, everyone's embarrassed themselves, man. Like everyone's done. No matter what you've fucking done, I've probably done something that's like 85 times more horrifyingly embarrassing in some.
Bro, I can't even. I would have, if I started to think about the embarrassing shit I've done, I would fucking like have a meltdown. It's only because at some point I decided to just never, well, not pretend, just to like choose never to be embarrassed by dumb shit I do, that I even am able to progress in life. Because otherwise, I have
so embarrassed by it. I can't like I'll be like, haha, like silly high school me, like in conversation to try and like pretend like I'm not. But I literally have fully, when somebody brings that up to me, 80% of my brain instantly reverts to just like trying to tear itself apart. Like the neuronal connections try to like disconnect the synapse.
abort.
Neighboring synapses.
Yeah, dude, fuck that shit. If I think about anything I did in like my freshman year of college, like literally any day of, if I just pick a day on the fucking map, freshman year of college, and I think about it, it's like, it's fucking, I was 17, first year of like freedom, and just horrible. Everything was horrible. Thinking of any interaction I had, I was just like, what were you doing, dude?
So much too. Like relationships as a whole, and this is when I say like I wasn't sentient until 23, like relationships as a whole, like up until I turned 23, like just nothing made any fucking sense. Like I would just do things and then like it seemingly unrelated things would happen, and like she would do things that I didn't understand why they were prompted, and then it all sort of changed around 23. Like 23 was the point where I like sort of figured out like why girls were like behaving the way that they were, and stuff started like making more sense and stuff. But and then also like it was around like 25, I noticed like, oh fuck, like all of this just seems to be like flowing really smoothly now. Like everything is just like working, and theoretically there's like some 19-year-old out there and everything is like going okay-ish for him, I guess, but it's usually like
no, you like progress to enough levels, right? So then it just becomes like automatic. Like a lot of your natural impulses when you're like 18 just do not mesh well with women, and you end up creating conflicts, and you don't see how your actions set them on a fucking like domino, Rube Goldberg machine, whatever the fuck it's called. And they end up and they respond with some crazy shit. You're like, how the hell did this happen? Right. But then after, you deal with that for like 4 or 5 years, you come back, you're like, oh, it was literally, if I said this instead of that, then they don't have the response that they have.
Yeah, no. There was a lot of stuff where, and I think this is like a common thing for like a lot of guys in their first relationship is they don't like, they don't put a lot of effort into like being nice or cutesy, or the meme where we were talking about like setting a timer to like randomly like every month like write her a letter or some shit like that. Like they don't understand that like women need affection, and so they wind up like just sort of ignoring it until she blows up. But by the time she's blown up and come to you saying like I'm feeling unloved, or reacting however she does, like some of them will just tell you like I'm feeling neglected. Others of them will do less nice things than telling you directly.
Yeah.
They might react in a more upsetting or even confusing fashion. And that's the thing is if they don't say like, I'm feeling neglected, sometimes they just fucking like freak out or like they'll cheat on you or they'll just do some sort of like physically violent thing to you. And if you're like an 18-year-old guy and you don't really think you've been doing anything wrong, because like guys don't really understand in relationships, right? Like a young guy, especially if he isn't getting constant feedback that like he's being mean in like a small way, right? Like, and this is most of what guys wind up doing is it's not like they're doing things that are making the girl like, oh, that was so bad. Like, you're so evil. I need to have a talk about this. It's like things that the girl sort of like sits on and like ignores.
Yes.
And then is away for later. And then like when it finally comes out, the dude just has no fucking idea what's going on, right? Like she'll like freak out at him for like not unloading the dishwasher or something like that. And he's like, I don't understand why the dishwasher is this big of a deal. And it's like, well, it's not really, but it's like
you missed the fucking 100 signals prior to the dishwasher. And you had no idea because you didn't know to look for them to begin with.
Yeah, because you're a fucking like 18-year-old guy who's had like 2 relationships that have been like 6 weeks long or something like that.
Well,
like
the other thing is too, you have to learn the male versus female communication thing, which is another thing that like you just don't learn without experiencing it. Where it's like there's a type of bonding that men do with each other that if you do it with women, they fucking start to resent you eventually, and like you can't do it. Or like there's also like a type of like you have to develop the type of bonding that works for women. Otherwise, they're like they start to feel neglected. So that's a whole thing.
This is like a big thing I'm personally working on right now. Actually, is because my natural mode of like I so much am like challengey in terms of like if I have to go and say like, oh, this is something you should do, right? Like the way that you go and approach male friends about like how they should improve things is generally like, oh, you're doing this wrong. Stop doing this. Do this instead, or something like that. Whereas with girls, you're mostly supposed to like compliment them on the things that they're doing right, and then just like not really, Yeah,
like incentivize them with positive
like
affirmation.
You don't need to do the negative feedback on stuff that they're doing wrong, really, because like if you give them the positive feedback on the good stuff, they just start doing that more, and it like sort of grows to occupy the territory of the negative instead, and that goes away. And if you give them negative feedback, they really do fucking start they feel bad.
Yes, and that's not good because they ruminate. Women will fucking like they brine in that shit. Like
but they're also like very perceptive too. Like if they see you intentionally complimenting good things, they read between the lines and they're smart enough to realize like, oh, like he's not complimenting this other thing because he dislikes it, right? Like
but they need to do the other part on their own. Whereas like men, we want to be told like because that's the thing. If you go, oh, I like what you're doing here,
oblivious to this shit. So like if you go up to one of your friends and you just compliment him on something good, he doesn't think like, oh, well, he's complimenting he's complimenting me on this thing versus this thing. But maybe he likes this other thing too. Like,
if you compliment the good thing, we're like, oh, that means he trusts my decision making, which means if I do this other thing, it's also probably good too. You know what I mean?
You literally have to go and say, no, do this. Don't do this other thing.
We're back.
We're so back.
We're so back. This will be like our meme, like half returns.
So what's this podcast about?
We're talking about how incentivizing the way to communicate with men versus women, incentivizing positive affirmation versus like negative, pointing out negatives.
Yeah, we're now talking about how to manage girlfriends.
Wow. How many have you guys had? I've had 0.
You're perfect for this conversation. How many have I had? I've only had the one that I have. No, that's not true, but I don't.
The one.
She listens to the podcast, so she's not going to like anything I say. So I'm just going to say her. I'm sure she knows better than I. She probably has a better idea of how many girlfriends I've had than I do. Like, because girls do the full private investigator shit. And like, because like all of a sudden you like hang out with a girl and then she like drops your ex's name. You're like, how do you even know that girl? How do you even know that chick? He's like, oh, she looked through every single picture you've ever had and on every single platform ever and figured out who your girlfriends were at which time.
I'm pretty sure my girlfriend 100% does know like more about like and this was the other, like whenever I get asked like, oh, like Lucas, what's your body count? Like my answer is always, I don't know. And it's literally like, I stopped counting after like 2. Like it's never occurred to me to be like going around keeping like an Excel spreadsheet of like all of my past sexual partners, right? Like that's not like thought about it. It's the same thing with girlfriends. Like, I don't know. I know it's like, it's double digits if we want to count relationships like under 2 months.
I think if you count the small ones, I actually have no idea. If you count things that are under like for me, it's like under a month or it's like over X number of months, right? It's like I don't really do that between a month and 6 month period really ever. So if you count the under the months, I actually have no clue. Because whatever fucking flirtationship you have when you're like 18.
I was a big serial dater for sure.
I wasn't a serial dater, but I had like flirtationship things. But like I know the actual number of like proper relationships. But here's the thing though, so consequently, she probably knows the exact number. She probably even knows her fucking my ex figured out the ex before her. She knew her fucking college GPA. And I was like, I don't even know what fucking university my ex-girlfriend went to. How do you know her GPA? I remember, and then she was like, oh, yeah, I found her on LinkedIn and da-da-da-da. I was like, oh, okay, cool. I guess I learned something new too, Yeah,
I don't know. I don't really have any, like I have, my last one was like kind of serious, I guess. But like all of the, that was like the last one that I had pre-sentience. And then all of the rest were like.
Wait, pre-what? Sentience?
Yeah.
Wait, you weren't sentient before?
No, literally it was like age 23. That was when I think I hit my stride and like was able to I think that's when I like developed theory of mind, was like age 23.
How did you do that?
You kind of just wake up one day.
What was the event? Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I just sort of like gradually phased into it. I don't know. I think every guy sort of has the same thing, and like
I'm not 23 yet, so
yeah, that's what we're saying. It's hard to explain. Like
I'm not sentient to you.
No, for real though. Like one day you wake up around like between 23 and 25, and you're like, wait a second, like my whole feeling of self is changed. It's like it's like a very like legitimate like perception shift.
And you start feeling like, oh shit, like everything just works out before. Like all of these other things that previously were just like these confusing messes, these like confusing social bombs waiting to go off. Like I would be like, oh, like, wait a sec. This is all like easily navigable now.
Yeah, it's a very strange thing. I don't know how to explain it, but yeah, if you're past them, there's like when you're younger, you feel like it's like talking down to you. We're like, oh, you're not old. You fucking barely know anything. You're not old enough. But then there is legitimately a moment where you go, even between me this year and last year, it's like something changed, and that's real. And I don't know how to explain it until you have it.
Like what you changed.
Yeah, like it's like a legitimate felt perception shift.
Dude,
like
unironic. Having my girlfriend be like as supportive of like my weird shit as she has been, I think gave me because I used to do like a ton of like really self-deprecating nonsense. She actually described me as like this was funny.
I can't even imagine you doing self-deprecating shit.
Dude, she said that when she found me, she was like, I felt like I found an unhatched egg.
Interesting.
You're an egg?
Yeah. I was an egg, and she said, now you're like one of the baby chickens.
Little baby chick action.
One day.
Oh, little baby chick. Oh, we fucked up. Damn it. We could have had like April Fool's like whole fucking like branding shift from raccoons to something else. I don't know. You said baby chicken. I just realized. Anyway, back to what we were saying.
Chicken?
Little chicken. No, yeah, no, there's like a whole.
Yeah, I think the same thing is going to wind up happening to you with like because it's very different having like it's like my ex, very nice, loving, but normie girl, right? And she like was like supportive in like a vague sense, right? But it's not like, there would be like, if I were to say like, hey, I'm going to I'm going to quit my job to do this other thing that's much more profitable. But like, if I try and explain it to you in any way, you're not going to understand it. And also, when we go to visit your parents and they ask what I do, I'm going to have to give a deeply unsatisfying answer. Like, there would be a sense of dread in her eyes, right? Like, she wouldn't look like, oh, this is great, right? She would be like a little bit worried and terrified and stuff. Whereas like,
Why? Is that because you like lowered your value as like a partner or something?
well, she was just very much so like inside of the realm of like I don't know, like the
Did you
institution.
become a beta incel?
Yeah, essentially.
Yeah, basically, yeah, to her.
Yeah, just to her.
You know, like if you have, there's definitely a type of person who needs like a institutional, like if I can, you be able to explain your job in like one sentence, like, oh, I'm an associate, da-da-da. And if you're not doing that, it's like, what the fuck are you doing? You're unemployed. You know, there's definitely a type of person who needs that.
I don't understand it. I don't know how this is working. Whereas now there's a sense of like, oh no, I understand that you're good at this weird thing that isn't rewarded through conventional labor markets, and you should do that instead because it seems like you have fun with it.
It's so weird. Yeah, no, I have that now. I never had that before too, and I'm like, how? I don't have to explain like what I'm up to.
Girls really like. Girls are big fucking corporate strivers, dude. Girls fucking love LinkedIn and they love flexing their VP's status as their BF status as a VP at some tech corporation, right? Like girls fucking love if you're a tech VP. They fucking hate if you're some sort of weird unemployed / Seychelles contract worker. Like, that's not what they want to hear.
Yeah, they don't like that at all. Though it is very, very nice and refreshing to have someone who's like, you always like, because even I'm like, what the fuck am I doing? And then she's like, no, you're doing great. And I'm like, yeah, I guess that is true. And when you say it that way, it's like, damn. But unfortunately, I haven't had that. Oh, we got click clacky.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
Yeah,
I think that builds up though.
I
think that eventually turn you into some sort of like arrogant shithead, right? Like if you go back and posts. If you go back and look at my posts from like 2 years ago or something, it was all like very timid, very tame, very self-deprecating.
Oh yeah, being a fucking once you start doing internet shit, oh yeah, you become an arrogant shithead. Absolutely. It's like, I don't need a job. I'm fucking made of money, bro. I'm fucking out here making money appear out of thin air. That's like, that feels, it's very validating.
What an absolute baller. I feel like going around town and just like I can go to like a fucking breakfast diner at like 9:30 in the morning and just chill there, like either on my laptop or just texting or whatever. And the only other people there are like retired, like 8-figure net worth guys, 8-figure plus, just like chilling around, like enjoying, because they all just go out and like dick around with their friends all day and stuff. And they're like, oh, you're out all the time here. Like, what do you do for your job? and then we get to talk about it and they're like, oh, so you're not just like some homeless guy. That's cool. And then you get to hear about like what their business is and how they made their money. And like, it's literally like networking hours is when everyone is at work. Like that's
I want to learn how to network.
Networking is, I feel like the word networking is the wrong word.
Yeah, I know.
All my professors talk about networking, so I got to learn that shit.
No, it's fake. Networking is hanging out with someone.
It's the meme word.
Oh, you mean it's like actually befriending the person?
Yeah.
I see now.
See, simple.
No.
Well, it's like partying with someone or like schmoozing with someone more.
Yo, if anyone who's watching this wants to be my friend, I'll be your friend.
He's not being sarcastic.
No one
honestly,
said
no.
anything.
Generally, no. We don't have a live studio audience, but they will find you. You just opened up the floodgates is the problem.
Oh, wait, they're gonna try and find me now.
Yeah, you're gonna get our fucking fans are rabid, bro. You're gonna start getting added on Twitter with raccoons and shit.
He thinks that we're like weird posers.
Wait, what?
What if they don't find him now and he thinks that we're like weird posers?
No,
Yeah, they're not gonna find you.
No, it's gonna be a time delay. It's just in like 2 months. You're gonna start getting raccoon ads. I promise.
Like a raccoon?
Yeah, like literally, like I get added in so many raccoon memes now. It's our fault for doing this, for doing raccoon branding. But I get tagged in raccoon shit. Has that happened to you yet, Lucas?
Yeah. Well,
yeah.
I don't really.
Does it scare you?
I can't live in my notifications that much because there's a lot of them.
Oh, good
And,
point. Yeah.
So I largely like don't see my tags. There's some people too, like every now and then someone sends me a tweet of someone being like, Lucas, I know you name search this, and then they say, and it's like, I can't even go through my fucking tags and replies. There's absolutely no way I'm name searching. Like, and especially because my name is like a fucking common, like,
Yeah. There's no way you're
like
name searching that.
Yeah. Like I'm not like Verse Laloon.
I don't name search my name anyway because I'm a fucking real nigga. You know what I'm saying? What?
We're gonna have so many incidents. We need to find out how to delete the setting that like lets us talk over each other, because it's genuinely happened so many fucking times this episode, to the point where like it's making me want to throw the microphone. I can only imagine.
Can you hear it on your end too?
Well, like I can hear everything that you're saying, so I hear myself talking, and it's like normally this thing where like when both of us are talking at the same time, there's like an understanding that like one of us is just going to stop, and then like it doesn't ever happen in this time because.
Interesting.
Yeah, so like I keep going on, and it's just like
It's
so
fucking
we can
over.
probably kill. Well, you're going to see it in post, because we're going to line up both of the audio files. Actually, maybe we're not, because are we recording individual tracks right now, or are we just recording the whole call?
We're doing individual tracks.
Wait, I was supposed to be recording?
No, I'm recording it.
So
it does individual tracks. Yeah.
you're going to be able to see it, because we're going to go and we're going to lay. And, normally it's like you have your track is going and then it stops, and then my track is going and then it stops, and then like they trade off. You're going to be able to see so many instances of both of us talking over each other. And
that's when I have to, that's when you have to that's when I have to annoyingly just like be like, all right, we're deleting this person's commentary here, deleting this person's commentary here.
yeah, it's going to be a lot of editing work on these until we kill this set.
And how much do you pay your editors?
$7. We got $7 in the last $28 in the last 28 days. So I guess $7 is what we're getting paid.
Oh, you guys edit your own content, I see.
Absolutely.
That's how we like to have it.
That's why we appreciate your patrons and the donations, people. Thank you.
We genuinely do need to start.
Yeah, thank you very much.
I'm now at the point where I'm like, this is the crazy thing about being unemployed versus I'm realizing the time value of money much, much more. And I'm realizing, like, am I really fucking like the amount of time that it took to edit that last one too was really, 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 really high, because there was a bunch of stuff that I was trying to like cut out and line stuff up with to make it like, I don't know, to make it so like we would be talking about something and then in the middle there would be something that like we had to cut out. Like my dad coming in and saying like, hey, what time do you want to have dinner? Like, lining all of that up so it like still flowed again. It's just like,
yeah, it's a pain in the ass. The only thing that's sort of nice, well, I don't know if it's sort of nice, but part of it is like I kind of like the zen of it when I'm doing it, but like I don't always want to be doing it. For me, it stops me from like becoming a fucking, if I start editing the video or whatever, it stops me from being a degenerate who's like only watching YouTube or some shit. I feel more like I'm doing something.
So how many views does this podcast usually get? Is it like 1,000?
Yeah, probably
I'm a big
1,000.
fan.
Yeah, probably 1,000 people.
Hi, 1,000 people.
yeah,
Hello.
maybe in the future, who knows?
Yeah, see, the videos don't leave anywhere. Down the road, people gonna come back.
Again, fuck.
Do I get to bring a vest? Wait, do I get to bring a guest? Not a vest. Whoa, not a weapons podcast.
Yeah, the fucking the talking over thing is annoying. Well, we can stop
it keeps fucking me up.
Then we won't have to edit more. We have like 2.5 hours.
Well, it's also funny because we have this. So I guess this is probably going to be like the second session of the podcast. So we haven't reiterated for the second people what's going on here. But there's an audio setting within Zoom that when one person is talking or when you're talking, it like lowers the other people's volumes as some sort of like a meeting setting for like work or something that has been basically preventing everyone from realizing that they're talking over everyone else. So and this would be bad with 2 people, but now we have 3 people in here. So like the one time we have a guest on and we're using Zoom instead of Zencaster. So we have this like heinous setting that some absolute like corporate shithead has inflicted upon us. And it's causing us to just all talk at the same time without realizing it.
It's demonic. It's fuck. We pay for Zoom for this fucking ass wipe bullshit. So unfortunate, but so it goes. So you guys are gonna yell at us in the comments again about our audio. You know, I love the comments that are like, I'd love this podcast if you guys didn't fucking talk over each other. It's like, listen, bro, I don't know what you want from me. Okay, I'm trying my best out here. We're fucking unprofessional. I'm sorry. We're two raccoons out here in the jungle. You know.
When he gets older, he won't sound like this anymore, right?